You see that painting back there? You probably can't, but I'm gonna show you another one. It's called The Hood Still Life. And you may have been wondering, what is the hood still life? And why has it got to be hood? Well, hood is nothing short but of neighborhood. And that's where I grew up. You know, things in my neighborhood. I grew up in Houston, Texas. Been all over from Third Ward to Southwest to Humble, Texas to I guess Northwest, Northeast, and a lot of the things in the picture that you're looking at, it pretty much shapes my experience as a kid and even to adulthood. It's made up of everyday objects from my neighborhood, things that people may tend to overlook, but for me, they carry real meaning. You can see the in the picture the cheap beer and the liquor, and that reminds me of my uncle Anthony. He was known for a lot more, but that's one of the things I just wanted to include in the picture. Another thing you'll see is the Nike box. For me as a kid, growing up, we didn't really have a lot, and so a lot of times I wanted nice things. I wanted Nikes. I wanted some Jordans, but we couldn't afford it. So if you look at the box, you'll see that it's kind of dented, a little old, and that kind of reflects two things. One, I used to hold on to boxes a lot, even after I get them. Just kind of, I don't know if that's like a mental thing, just to kind of like, oh yeah, I do have these Nikes. I finally got some shoes. But two, the box being kind of damaged also signifies to me that the shoes that I did receive a lot of times were hand me downs, and I was thankful for it. But again, that just shows like we didn't have much growing up, and that's what I want to convey in that picture. Also, too, you see the Popeyes chicken box every week. Not every week. That's ludicrous. But often we would eat Popeyes. And when I got to be about in my 19 or 20s, they had that every Tuesday. So every Tuesday we'd be at Popeyes getting that deal, and the line was all the way to the street. But that's just a testament of the time that I was living in, and occasionally I still go to Popeyes, so I might put that Popeyes chicken sandwich up in there for my next painting, but not this one. I'll explain that one, this one at the show, so please attend. But then we move on to the flowers and the candle. Those are things that was reminiscent of my grandmother's house. Everybody, I don't know about you, but my grandmother, she had a arrangement of fake flowers, but she did have some real. So I'm not trying to get in trouble. She will get me in the comments, or I'll get a phone call, because she's a great gardener. If you go by her house in Third Ward, but then too, you see the iron. Now the iron hits a little different because that one it really is a little bit deeper than some of the other items in the painting. For the reason that my grandfather, I never got to meet him, but my dad would always tell me, he was always crisp, always clean, kept his clothes real nice, ironed and pressed. He even, I believe, he worked at a laundromat or a press, and him and my great grandfather did, or I believe they own one, so I have to fact check that. But my dad, he was always clean. Not that he had the nicest of things, but whatever he had on, it was ironed, it was pressed. We in Houston, we got a saying, starch down, starch dying. That was my dad. That is my dad. He will not go anywhere without ironing his clothes. And unfortunately, I didn't always share those same sentiments. I would go out the house looking raggedy, shirt unkept, pants not ironed, and that's why I included that, just because it just a reminder of growing up. Hey, boy, make sure your clothes is ironed. And I'll tell this funny story. I remember at my graduation, I had at the last minute just opened up my robe, and I remember just opening it up, and it was fully wrinkled, and I didn't have time to go back home and iron it. And then the first person to see who you think it was my dad, and he was just like shaking his head like, boy, how you just walk out the house looking like that? And enough, I tell you today, I still have some bad traits, but I try my best to iron. My wife will tell you, sometimes I'll be ironing, just going to the store, not all the time, but occasionally she'll see me do that. She's like, why are you ironing your clothes? And just a mental thing. But lastly, then too, you see the cigarillos. That's my granddad. He used to smoke. I believe it's Black and Miles, and so that's why I included that there. So these are things that represent, what I grew up with symbolically in a picture that, like I mentioned in another video, I don't really see too often in museums. And so I just wanted to shine a light on that, and that's the Hood Still Life Part 1. Behind me is the Hood Still Life Part 2. So I will be sharing, hopefully, I'm giving myself deadlines now. So my solo show is March 29th. It's going to be virtually. If I get enough funds to actually do that show, I'm going to do an in-person show in Houston. We'll talk about possibly doing other shows, whether Dallas or Austin. But for sure, my goal is by the summertime to have a show in-person show in Houston. Online is the format right now. It's a way for me to make some money, and I will honor any guests that attend. You'll get a free access to the in-person show. Tickets might be a little bit higher in person, but for everyone that's supporting me online, coming to that show, this is a solo show, so this is separate from my collaborative shows with other artists. Again, just putting that out there. Hopefully you're paying attention. You can ask me again if you're confused. But yeah, that's it. These objects, they tell a story, my story, and this is the Hood Still Life. Disclaimer alert. I will have some other works featured in that show too. Some that aren't just what I grew up with. But I won't be explaining those. I want you to just see it. And I'm not going to be selling these works outside of the art shows. So if you want one, you have multiple opportunities to get them, but you won't see these in my online shop. So again, these pieces are going to actually hold a lot more weight. Not just this one, but the other ones that I'm going to create. They are going to have some symbolic meaning to them. Deep meaning, and I won't explain it just because I want to have some mystery around it, and it speaks on things that I can't really openly say. So yeah, I hope you come enjoy it and see it, and ask me questions that I won't answer. I will answer this one, but yeah, thank y'all, love y'all.